I woke up, you know, so something must have awakened me. When you wake up, like suddenly something has awakened you, probably a noise. And I was so awake, I got to put the bedside lamp on, got out of bed and I put the light in the room on, the ceiling light. And then I noticed a little wisp of smoke on the bottom of my door. That couldn't have wakened me, but you know, but there was a wisp of smoke coming into the door. I opened the door, the landing outside is filling up with smoke, and it's coming out seems to be coming from my colleague's bedroom.
All sorts of poisonous toxins, including carbon monoxide, certain monoxides. They give me a long plethora of all the poisons in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I went to his bedroom, doors half open, pushed it open, got in, and I'm searching in the dark, and I found him. Dragged him out on the landing, you see. Come on, come on. Because smoke apparently disorientates people. They can get disorientated very quickly, apparently. Anyway, got to the top of the stairs. I ran down the stairs, phone 999.
Alan was excellent. He phoned the fire brigade, he kept us calm, and he phoned the fire brigade and the police. The fire brigade came very quickly, within minutes.
We got a fire in the house. I want a fire brigade. Get address. I gave him the address, you know, Vicarage Court, Benwell Lane, Newcastle, code. Repeat that. I repeated it, went on our way. Well, we're lucky actually, because straight down the road here, this is a main road outside, but straight down this main road, just over a mile, is the fire station. And at 70 mile an hour, they're going to get you in under a minute.
Straight along Elswick Road. Yeah.
Straight along, bang, Elswick Road, Adelaide Terrace in a year, bang.
Yeah.
And so I went back. He's at the top of the stairs. I said, come on, get down. I said, took him down. Then I realised I've got to open the front gate, let the fire brigade. I look out, they're there already.
And there was a police helicopter above the house. And I was taken to hospital after, like some jungle animal, a good several onions to induce vomiting.
Unbelievable. They must have come 80 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So I go out, and I realise I've got nothing on my feet, and I gravel, outside. You know, it's like walking on nails.
Right.
I get to the gate, and I haven't got the key to unlock it. I said, I haven't got a key. They handed me the bolt shears, so bang, cut the lock off. Two big elephant-like men charged past me. Anybody in there? I said, yeah, he'd be by the stairs. I said, one person. So they charged past me, another person, charged after him with a hose. And the next thing I know, there's a guy got hold of me, and he's literally thrown me into an ambulance.
I did vomit. I vomited outside the ambulance before I actually got to the hospital.
Right, so you
Now,
vomited outside the ambulance.
Within seconds, they had him out, Tony, put him in the other ambulance, and went away. But there were 4 or 5 appliances, 2 police cars, and then a helicopter.
Can you remember going into the hospital?
very vaguely. If I let the raw onions be absorbed into the system, they could do more harm than good. If it induces vomit immediately, then it can do good.
Right.
But it's not just the stomach; it's also the respiratory tract, which I was like the girl in The Exorcist, spewing of black tar almost, black muck. My tongue was all black, my face was black.
So did you communicate with him at all at the hospital?
A little, yeah, I could.
Right.
But then he was clearly going. He was starting to go.
He was starting to go.
You know.
So you can't remember being in the hospital then?
I can remember very, very vaguely, but it's very vague.
Right. So it must be around about that time that you've passed out then.
It must have been about that around that time, yes.
Right.
And they kept him in, put him in intensive care straight away. They kept me in and let me go the next afternoon. And said, you know, he have to be in intensive care in a bad way. I went, I told his parents, I told his uncle and aunts, I told his sister, I told everybody I could, right, you know, all those who need to know, a few friends. And then I went in the day after myself, and they wouldn't let me in. And I said, look, we've been working together for 30 years, I know him better than anybody on the planet, it's up to you, like. His parents then said, you've got to let him in, he's the person he'll probably know best on the planet, right, you know. So they said, well, you can go in, but do us a favour, talk to him. Because even though he's in an induced coma, which he's in, he may be able to hear your voice. He said it helps, we think. This is theory. Like.
How long were you in a coma for?
Nearly 2 weeks.
So you were completely unconscious for 2 weeks?
Totally unconscious, but I had positive abstracts, wheels spinning on in my head. I wouldn't allow any negativity to get me down. My attitude was thrive under pressure. Don't let the bastards succeed.
So I went in for a couple of hours of talking away, you know, telling him everything's okay, it's all going to be all right, which it wasn't. They'd sent me home on my own to this place. And I walked in, the whole of the upstairs, all the walls, ceilings, everything were black. It was incredible. All the curtains were black, the bedding was, everything was black. I never seen anything like it. And his room was wrecked, totally burned out. Windows had been smashed in the passageway and all the bedrooms to let the smoke out. They do that. So I got smashed with. Oh, Christ, you wouldn't believe it.
Consensus of opinion amongst the doctors, and one of them was a professor actually, was that my chances of survival were, going back 20 years of experience, of their experience in the RVI and the Freeman's Hospital, were 25%.
I'm thinking he's going to die.
So you witnessed this
They
young...
said to me then, I said, I want to know what the form is.
Right.
They said, well, we can't, and they all looked glum. I said, look, I need to know, so that I need to know. I said, you can tell me, I'm a big lad. They said, well, he's got 25% chance of survival.
25%.
Mm.
And how
They
long
said-
was he in the coma for?
Nearly 11 days.
11 days. And were you there when he came around?
And they said the other thing is, if he comes out of it, he lives, he could have brain damage.
25% chance, and that's been, so to expect the worst, is said to be family and Alan Wilson and others.
Do you remember coming round after 2 weeks?
I can't remember, but I was told by my family, which I, with no reason to disbelieve it, they told that on Sunday afternoon, the 14th of August, there was a Catholic priest with the family, and he gave me a blessing, a blessing with this oil and cloth, probably on the forehead, but obviously I was totally oblivious of that being in a coma, and he just touched me, struck my forehead and said, he will be all right.
Right.
Now, I'm not particularly religious, but I'm not an atheist either. So some of my family believe that the Catholic priest was actually one of the contributory factors to my remarkable recovery.
Were you there when he came round, or
No, I wasn't there, but I went in shortly afterwards. And he was still, he's trying to speak, he couldn't speak properly.
Right.
Like a drunk, it was weird. But we were just glad he was around, like, you know.
Right. Now,
He had needles all over him and stuff in his throat and his mouth. And
Right.
It was like a spaceship.
do you have any, recollection of when you were in? I know it's a crazy question.
Thrive under pressure, don't let the bastards get you down. This is you can do this, you can get through this. I was at a seaside resort.
Right. So it's like a survival instinct kicked in.
Yeah, but first of all, people have said it's a fire by smoking. The fire brigade have dispelled that, and it's a mystery to the fire brigade, the Northumbria Fire Brigade. Right? It's definitely not smoking. It goes against the laws of physics and science that it could be started by an electrical fault because the electrics are all intact, including the insulation.
So the electrics were checked after the fire.
The lights were still on when the fire started. There's no cooking taking place.
Once the dust had settled, Alan realised what happened did not seem right.
It didn't make sense. Put it
the-
this way, it didn't make sense to me. None of it made sense because at 3:15 in the morning, you're both fast asleep. So, you know, it didn't make sense. And it was a, what the hell is happening here? It was, what the hell is going on? He doesn't smoke. He will have a cigar at Christmas or something. He likes the smell of it. He doesn't smoke. He certainly doesn't smoke in bed. And neither of us had been out drinking. So we'd had a night in watching the boxing on TV Saturday night and that, and got to bed fairly late, I suppose.
And now Alan used to work for the National Loss Adjusters called Ellison Buckle. Alan Wilson, I'm referring to. And it was his job to inspect fires and assess the damage and the compensation appropriate. And he has never seen anything like it before. There's no conceivable way that is a natural fire.
Alan Wilson wrote to the police on the 18th of September 2011 explaining all the facts about the incident, but the police have so far not even entered the house to investigate.
And there is a damaged floorboard. Well, it's one of the rafters underneath the floorboards, which appears to have like a chunk missing from it. So it clearly looks as though something has either exploded or you know, there's an impact where that beam has been damaged. It's not just fire damage. You can see that it's possibly
It is
something.
combustion. A bomb. Combustion means when you kickstart a motorbike or start up an engine. combustion. It started with the explosion, and then it was followed by the Fast and Furious Inferno, the fire, and that's exactly what an incendiary device does. I've seen an incendiary device in the 1990s by an MI5 operative who actually rented accommodation from us and an office.
Yeah. So an incendiary device will extremely quickly turn a room into, as you describe it, an inferno.
That's what they're intended happened. To do. And he's the head of the Northumbria, one of the heads of the main fire investigation department. He said it wasn't smoking. We've got no answer to that. He says our job is to stop fires and save lives. It's a prerogative of the police if it's been suspected foul play. And that was the end of it. We have had electricians here, I've had architects here, I've had engineers here, and they all say the same thing.
I mean, this is serious stuff, Baron. This is an attempted murder, if you're right.
It's attempted arson, murder, and conspiracy to murder.
Right.
That is the foulest crime that can be done. I mean, can you imagine anything worse than a bomb or a fire, being burnt alive in your own bed?
Right. So that was what I was talking about before, where the supports underneath the floorboards there. If I just come down, like you can see there.
This is where the incendiary device was placed. You see this coming down here?
Yeah.
You can see the combustion.
Yeah. So that there's part of that floorboard.
What I've kept is I've kept the two key floorboards.
Yeah.
I'll get them out now, which were originally here.
Yeah. So that floorboard was there.
This is this heinous atrocity was very calculated and insidiously planned.
So could this really be an attempt on Baron Blackett's life?
What evidence do you have that it is actually a conspiracy, not just a natural fire? Well, first of all, it must be emphasised that on national television, I think it was 27th of November of this year, if a calamity, a fire as such happens on a Saturday night or early Sunday morning, there is a 20% chance, more chance of a fatality than any other time of the week. Maybe it's because the staff are preoccupied or they can't get people to do them shifts. People are looking to do them shifts, or maybe it's because they're busy. Probably a combination of both. Now, the second point is, there was a warmest night in August, just about that Saturday night. We were supposed to go out. So that's another factor. They don't pick a damp, rainy night when they can get a nice hot summer night. We were expected to go out. I've already mentioned that John McNeil, for the first time since he moved here, was aware that Saturday he disappeared. Right? And it's also a medical fact that people are at their deepest, darkest sleep between approximately 3:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. in the morning.
John McNeil was the only other person that had access to the house. Remember, the house is guarded by dogs, has high walls, and on that night McNeil stayed out of the house. Baron Blackett also recalls a conversation with McNeil a few days before the fire, where McNeil specifically asked him if he is going out for a drink on the night of the fire.
Now, when someone, he asked me, get yourself out, cajoling me to get out in Newcastle, typical Newcastle sort of way. And I thought, why is he asking me that? But I said, yes, we're going out Saturday night. He knew that we were going to expect it to go out. We were penciling to go out that Saturday night, and we would have probably got back approximately 1:30 in the morning. Now, we did not go out. And I had this feeling of unease that something wasn't quite right. I don't know if you've had this foreboding instinct yourself, but something wasn't quite right. Now, I smelt a rat because I got some subtle and not particularly subtle indications, little signals such as a glint, a wrong glint in McNeil's eye, for example. The wrong question here. Above all, that Saturday night he was out of the house. Now, all the other previous Saturday nights, without exception, he's always remained in the house. He never went out because he wants to get up early and be sprightly for football training on early Sunday morning, and mean jogging and training in general. Now, why did he go out on the Saturday night of the 13th of August? So these combined factors all put together made me suspicious, and I had this feeling of unease. And by 8:30, I cancelled the taxi, Everything was cancelled. We never touched a drop of alcohol.
Shortly after Barham was discharged from hospital, his brother came to visit him at the house and was also visited by John McNeil, who disclosed some information.
What actually happened was I was discharged on around lunchtime on the 7th of September. We came back, my brother had come back the previous night from London, my brother, and see me, obviously see how I was. The house was in absolute chaos. Obviously a bomb had literally hit it. It's not a metaphor.
well
The
damaged.
bed, as you've seen yourself, the
Yeah,
bed
I've
was
seen the
literally, the only
remains of
thing
the
remains
bed,
of the
yeah.
bed were the metal steel springs.
Yes, I've seen
Everything
that.
was totally annihilated.
Yeah.
And McNeil didn't come to work because he was all very clean and well dressed. He had had a drink and it smelled like alcohol on his breath. And he basically came, I think, to see the fancy work, what happened out of the fancy work. And he mentioned something about, he did mention specifically about, it was only a recording device I put under your bed. It was only a recording device. He was told it was a recording device.
So, hang on. He said to you it was only a recording device I put
Yeah,
on.
it's-
So
in
he's
other
actually
words-
disclosed to you and Alan that he's put something under your bed
Yes.
the night before this
Yes.
supposed fire.
In inference, he's
Right.
basically saying, in a way, he might not have said it had he not been drinking or whatever, he is saying in front of myself and two independent witnesses that it's got nothing to do with the recording device, this fire.
Right, it's got nothing to do with
No,
the
but he didn't actually
recording
say that. He
device.
said it was only a recording device.
Right.
This is a signed statement from Baron Blackett's brother stating that John McNeil said, "I was persuaded to put a listening device under Tony's bed." Tony is Baron Blackett's other name.
Yeah, if it was a listening device, there's not really much point in putting a listening device under somebody's bed because you go to bed to go to sleep. You're probably more likely to put it in the living room or some room where conversation happens. So do you think then, and you know, we're leading by assumption here, do you think then he's been told or asked to put a device which he thought was a recording device under your bed, but it was actually something else? Is that
Yes.
Well, he's the
So
only
it-
person who had access, and he seemed to act very strangely. He was in a state of shock, in my opinion.
Then he disappeared again, and I've never spoken to him since. The point is, I'm talking from inquiries. I've got no concrete evidence. Who else could have put the incendiary device under the bed except John McNeil? The tooth fairy? I don't think so.
But I don't think he would put the explosive or incendiary device there.
No.
Not on this planet.
right?
But he could be conned.
When John McNeil returned to the house, Alan noticed a change in his behaviour.
I know he was looking. He was in there. Came in the room when we were trying to clear the room and see what was there. He gathered up all the papers and documents from the bureau and put them in boxes and put them safe. He did that. He was doing that sort of thing. But he was in a hell of a state.
Okay.
And he said something about it. But
Really, you ought to go to the authorities and name John McNeil, I would have thought. Barham, I mean, is that...
Well, I don't know. I haven't rushed into that for all sorts of reasons. One of the reasons is I'm still under medical treatment because I must emphasise this again. I only had 25% chance of survival at all, and only 25% chance of coming out mentally correct. In other words, I might come out a cabbage or compromised or in some way damaged, mentally damaged, which can't be determined at the moment. So I have been stolen to an extent on making a big song and dance to the police or the authorities about this.
Some comments made by John McNeil to Alan Wilson suggest that McNeil may not be the only person involved.
he said to me, I don't see why they're making me out and I'm getting all the blame. Not that I'm getting blame. I'm getting all the blame. I said, you're getting all the blame.